Hey everybody, Raven Willow here. We're going to talk crystals today. So, those of you that follow my website, super easy. Everything of mine has the same name, Psychic Empath Raven Willow. PsychicEmpathRavenWillow.com. Same thing for Instagram, same thing for TikTok, same thing for YouTube. Anyway, we're going to talk crystals today. So the blog that I wrote to accompany this video is already posted on my website if you want to read it. And all the images that I share in this video will be in the document with further information than what I just talk about because, let's face it, we don't want to get too long and boring here. So, you're new to buying crystals and if you're like the oldies, we go into a metaphysical store or anywhere or go crystal hunting. Actually, I've done that too, like out in nature. Um, and we're like, I want them all, and then there's moments where you go in and you just wait for one to call to you, and they do. And you find that one or that two or however it works out. And then there's the times when you're the beginner and you're like, okay, I'm getting into this. I'm getting into this healing process and yoga and meditating or whatever it is, or you're going on your ascension path in life, whatever it is. But you have no idea what you're doing crystal wise. And let's face it, if you're a geologist, there's a gazillion and a half stones in the world. So I can't memorize them all. I know the ones that help me, and then I look up the ones that help my clients if I don't already know. Like, there's books. I have books. It just never ends. So your knowledge will just continue to grow, and some people are just like crystal files, and they're like an encyclopedia of crystals. But this is just an easy peasy version to get you started. Now, this is going to focus on shape and where crystals come from. And shape, because shape informs the information that is stored in a crystal. So I've got a whole bunch of things laying in front of me. Shape, okay, clear down to the tumbled, okay. Shape down to the very, very raw. So shape matters because that is what you're going to use it for and where it comes from. So different kinds of crystals are grown in different places. These look like beads around my neck, but they are in fact Namibian crystals and they're grown in riverbeds. If they are not on a like string necklace or whatever, and you hold them in your hand, it looks like you're looking into the deep universe. They're just absolutely gorgeous. And these are very personal to me. So you'll find things like that, just weird niches. So, if you want to look at where crystals are grown, well, okay, here's the layers of the earth. You can look this up and do the science yourself, but it does matter how deep. The deeper, the harder. You can just put it that way. And there are other crystals that come out of volcanoes, different things like that. So know where your crystal comes from. Like this behind me, this is a selenite crystal. They come in caves. They come from caves. Now, speaking of crystal caves, wouldn't you love to be that freaking dude? Except it's really freaking hot in there and you can't stay very long. But still, wouldn't you love to be that freaking dude? Yeah. Hell yeah. Uh. So that is a selenite crystal. It's grown in caves. So know where your crystals come from. Now, you also, it is important to know, if you don't want to really get into the different levels of Earth, at least know how the crystals are formed in that place and why and what transpires to make that crystal. That's important. So think of it like a computer system. A crystal, I'm going to talk about it as a computer system because we do use them in our modern computer systems. So think of it like a computer system. Whose house is that computer in? What have they been using it for? They look at investments? Are they like Googling and like learning new things and taking classes? Or is it like Pornfield, Hazard, USA? I don't know, nastiness. You know what I'm saying? You want to know what you're getting when you buy the crystal because they retain information. So you're like, okay, well, how do I do that? Well, one way is to vibe it out. Another way is like, this is just a clear quartz crystal. This is the easiest crystal to go and buy. Good vibes, little centering. It's just the all around good guy, go to crystal, quartz crystal. You can get it in raw form. I actually have a huge chunk of quartz crystal like this big that's in raw form. Awesome. I should have brought that in for the video. But you hold them. So you'll notice people when they're shopping for crystals and they're in the metaphysical stores. You'll notice different people doing different things. So some people are like picking up everything and kind of holding it. It's because they're getting the energy off of it. Like, do I vibe with this crystal? And this is my crystal, so obviously I do vibe with it. I'm holding it right now, and it's putting a very calm, loving vibe through my hand. And when we say they can retain digital information as well. But in this class, it's for spiritual uses. So you can feel it out. If you haven't gotten to that level yet where you feel comfortable, like, well, what does that mean? Well, you know what? Be those people in the store, sorry, that just run around picking everything up and holding it and see what feels the best. That's how you start. Like, different, and there's different crystals for different things, different kinds of healing. And we'll get into that too. So you get the different kinds of people and you get the familiar, just a little quartz crystal. And then you get into different things that have specific purpose and specific energy. So what do you get when you hold it? You will know. Like, if you just close your eyes and feel the energy of it, you'll be like, or and it very also depends on like your zodiac sign and different things like that too. What crystals are right for you. But will you ever just buy one crystal? Fuck no. It's like getting one tattoo. Like, no, not gonna happen. It just doesn't happen. You will always need more, and more will always call to you, and just different things, because as you ascend and as you grow in your knowledge, you're going to need more tools for that knowledge. So if you have one of those partners in life that are like, why are you buying more of this crap? Be like, that's why I'm a student and I'm learning and I need more tools for my learning. Okay. So we're going to get into a little bit of schooly looking stuff for just a sec. So there's different kinds of elements, and we all know the element chart from chemistry or what have you. But, that's not what we're talking about here. So sedimentary stones, those are things that, obviously not very deep in the earth. Um, Out of that list that I have here, I have malachite that is very good for opening your third eye, getting in touch with yourself. And I also have raw azurite. I use this, it's actually on my neck at all times because I'm a Libra and azurite is very good for balancing. So I even have a crystal ball of azurite. So you learn which ones are best for you. Um, Metamorphic stones like lapis, jade, kyanite. Lapis and jade are pretty standard. They just raise your vibes, keep you protected, just keep that good energy flowing. And especially jade. Jade brings good luck. It's good to bring money. It's good for good abundance, like abundance of health, like all of that stuff. So really easy to find. So in indigenous stones. So it's a Latin word. It's a little hard to say. That's okay. Um, you got hot molten rock, crystallizes and solidifies. So that's where you get into like your moonstones. Um, I have one in this ring, and that's a little bit blue. I also have a white version because the white version is very good if you're going through like a state of mourning. Um, so you can get all the agate stones are really good for that, and topaz, you can look through those. So these all help us know who we are as individuals. So that's why like moonstone combined with like another stone is really good for going through a mourning phase of losing somebody, not like mourning, waking up, but like losing somebody. Because it helps you remember, who you are and you're going to be okay. Um, and then you get into your just classic obsidian. We all know obsidian. It's what natives made arrowheads out of, and you know, obsidian. Obsidian is the rock of the rocks. It's like, yeah, like play some Metallica, anybody? So it retains history, obsidian. So if you have actually gone out and found arrowheads out in the forest, oh yeah, they're filled with energy. Oh boy, like a lot. Um, and it retains the energy of itself. So all of its lives. Um, so it's used for tools, obviously, by the natives because, be chiseled off and made hard. Um, but it helps bring warmth from deep in your body. It understands like shock and trauma, um, like being in that just state of like frozen, like something happened to me. And it's very good at getting your blood circulating again to calm you down and bring you out of that panicked mode. Obsidian is like the rock star. So if you have like nothing else in your crystal kit, at least have clear crystal and some obsidian, black obsidian. There you go. Um, and malachite also helps heal deep emotional pain. And you can look up images of these if I'm not showing them because, we got a ways to go, folks. There's also a difference between lab stones and stones grown in nature. don't buy lab stones. How do you know if you're getting a lab stone? Okay. One, you should be shopping for your crystals in person and not online. Unless it's like a rare thing like a meteorite. I bought a meteorite online and it's a verified like meteorite. That's different. Lab stones, yes, you still get crystal energy, but they didn't grow in the earth. They are not part of nature, therefore they are not connected to you. We are a part of nature. It's just like if you hold a diamond that was harvested, collected, whatever, out of the earth versus one grown in a lab, you will feel energy from the diamond from the earth. You will not feel energy from the diamond grown in the lab. It's not that it can't help you, it's just that you need that energy and information imprint from that crystal's life in order to heal you because you are part of nature. So, do not get lab grown crystals. Now we're going to get into rod crystals a little bit. And there is a difference, and you're going to be like, what and a what and a what? So, you can tell if something is meant to be held in your right hand or your left hand. So, these would be like a little bit unrefined of a rod crystal. And these are both female because they have two ends. And you can see from the pictures where the markings are is where what hand you hold them in, like what side of the crystal it's on. Does that make sense? So this one's a tumbled one, but you can see the markings in there that I'm talking about. You'll just have to hold up your crystal and kind of get used to looking for them and finding them, but they're in there. You can see them. Okay. Even if it's a little bit more rough, that one's a little bit harder to see in the light, but you can see them. They are in there. So that will tell you if you should be holding that crystal in your right hand or your left hand. And why is that important? Well, if you're right-handed or right or left-brained, if you're right-handed or left-handed, it might just be like a convenience thing, but it also might be a right or left brain thing. If you're trying to fix balance in your brain or doing any kind of mental health work, it's important to know which side it should be on. Okay. And then more rod crystal fun. So, left-handed crystals are female energy. They are most receptive to receiving energy, just like females in nature, we are more receptive to receiving. We are the yin side of yin and yang. So left hand is feminine and it's very calming. Right-handed crystals, they're most receptive in transmitting energy instead of receiving. Okay, so they're the yang. So they're very masculine and they're very stimulating. So if you don't want to take the time to be like, okay, I'll figure this out, hold it in your hand. Do you feel like you're receiving or do you feel like you're being stimulated? So if you can figure it out that way. And you can also ask the people at the metaphysical store to help you. But a crystal can also be both genders. It can be gender neutral. I know. And now y'all are saying she's saying what and what, and crystals can be male and female and transgender too, and what? Yep, I am. Yes, I am. I'm sorry, a hermaphrodite is a technical term. Yes, they can have both genders, just like any other living thing. Okay, chakra wands. You can obviously activate all your chakras if you have a chakra wand. Now, what is a wand? Well, then you get into things that are shaped like this, but a bit longer. And if it's a chakra wand, it will have all the colors of the chakra running down the wand in some way. And that is literally like for me, I'm a Reiki master. It's meant to align the chakras and get them in harmony and try to find where things are out of balance. It's kind of like a tuning fork, but I have tuning forks for those too. But they promote physical and emotional, spiritual healing. They can clear negative energies to promote good health, improve your meditation experience. Some people just hold on to them when they meditate to keep their chakras, and like it's just like that, like awesome place to be. It's working with all your chakras. It reduces stress and body tension. So even if you don't do Reiki and you just want to get a wand that's a chakra wand, just they work awesome for a lot of different things. Now, if something has a single connecting point, this is male. These are good for altars and things like that. They're meant to sit stationary, obviously. But males also come around in nature. This is called a cluster and a little bit little, but this is what happens when lightning hits sand and turns it into glass. But these are technically male. They just have one single base and that's it. So, single connecting males are good for just stability, um, holding the space, holding the energy of your altar. Think of masculine, stability, those kind of things. When they have two ends, they are female. When you work with wands like this, energy is flowing constantly. It does not stop. They have both ends, and like even in my hand right now, I can just feel it just it's not stopping. So there is a difference in the kind of wands that you buy, male or female. These are more for altars and stability. Yes, you can hold them and use them, definitely, but they are still male and they will still give you that effect. So if you need that, use that, right? If you're looking for energy flow, message flow, openness flow, meditation in and out, and you're not afraid of it, get the female. That's what those are for. Now, there's the specific one of these that I will get into in next session. But so males, by the way, are what they call single generators. That's what they're good for altars. They amplify manifesting to the universe, work with good thoughts. And these are what they call double energy generators, the female. Because energy is just moving through them all the time. They really good at balancing like polarity, teaching us to maintain balance in our lives, and they can help develop telepathy or psychic abilities and gifts. That's why when you hold one of these, you better be prepared for stuff to be coming in because it's coming in. That's what it's intended for. And just like I held up the little guy before, this is a cluster. Clusters are single generators. Like I said, they're male. So that would include like geodes, if you get geodes. and they are really good at, they create a strong energetic field as light bounces off of them. So if you have a cluster and it's a negative ionizer, so they collect negative energy. So that's why people buy like big clusters of crystals and just sit them. That's what they do. So that's why these things are designed to just sit mainly. But you can hold your wand, you can hold them, but you got it. Moving on. So there's also shapes that are natural in crystals. And one of them is the lattice of the tree of life. So this is what we get into what we call geometric patterns, sacred geometry. Um, Now this is obviously filled with certain crystals that would fill the tree of life for certain situations and meanings. But within crystals, this geometric pattern is in there. It could be microscopic. You can see it at microscopic levels um, within the patterns of the growing of the crystal. Does that make sense? So don't expect to pick up your crystal and be like, "Whoa, dude, there's like," no, that's that's not going to happen. But that pattern is in crystals. So types of crystal geometry, I'm not going to get into all of the ones that are listed on the blog because there's a lot of them and what they do and like how many axes they have and degrees and different things. And if you're into that, you can get into that. There's also on the blog a picture of different sacred geometry shapes that are important. Um, but what is important is this. So these are the basic shapes of crystals that you can use specifically related to your zodiac sign. And each zodiac sign has an earth sign. I'm a Libra, I'm an air sign. So my shape is octahedron. It's for wind. So this little stolen from math monks here, uh, I'm a teacher. I like paid for it and downloaded on Teachers Pay Teachers. But the this kind of shape, you can actually ask and look for crystals like but have like a certain crystal in mind, like this is raw azurite, but it can be made into shapes. And I could be like, this is very good for Libras. So I can go in there and tell a metaphysical store, I need this in an octahedron. And if they don't know what that is, then just show them a picture. They should know what that is. But these shapes are good for the elements. And then the one for sound, you can think of that as the fifth element. If you're into paganism or Wicca or anything, you know what a pentacle is, pentagram, pentacle, the 5 points. The one of them is spirit, your soul, your energy, whatever you want to call it, is the other one. So it's earth, air, fire, water, spirit. That's what you can pretty much consider the dodecahedron when they call it sound. So those are to be held to listen. Now you're connecting your spirit. Now you're connecting to the universe, to your guides, to everything, and you're listening. So shape influences what you're going to get out of your crystal. And in the next class, we are going to talk about one of these with a lot more sides and for a specific reason. And it was just some random scientific dude. Well, not some he's actually really famous scientist, but it was a scientist and not like somebody like me that found this out and like spread it to the world and was like, oh my gosh, look at the properties of this. So, next class will be that. And that is it for now. I'm gonna put in the link for the YouTube video, the link to my website so that you guys can pull up this article. There's a lot more information in the article. Like I said, I didn't want to ramble and talk too much because I can do that. But thanks for listening. Subscribe, please. Share with your friends. Get on my TikTok, Instagram, my website. They all have the same name, Psychic Empath Raven Willow. And see you guys very soon.